how they got into this. After A1 was done with Omen of Sorrow,
Yeah.
they were like kind of like on up and downs. They like most of the staff left for other projects, and then the pandemic happened.
Oh, okay.
So for a time, they went back to like the origins of the company, which was not necessarily making the games. They also do a lot of work for hiring. They started doing initially like
Software development.
no like 3D modeling for buildings, apartments, that kind of stuff.
Ah, okay.
Like
Like
CAD
CAD
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And at what point, like this was early 2021, like middle of the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
The two owners of the company at the time reached out to me, and they told me basically it's like, we want to make a new fighting game.
Nice.
And I asked them, do you really want to make another fighting game after all you went through? Because
Yeah.
honestly, making like fighting games must be one of the hardest genres to develop like video games in.
Sure,
So
yeah,
it's very, very convoluted in multiple ways that I'll touch a little bit upon further.
Yeah.
But they told me yes, and the thing is that they were kind of like restarting the company at this point.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they have very, very few people, and so it was a kind of like one of the first to get into like this rebirth of the company, right?
Yeah.
And basically they wanted me in terms of to help them design the new fighting game, because people know that even though like I've had my successes in fighting games, they come from not from a talent thing, but from a specific skill set of me having like like being good at disassembling video games, not
Yeah.
just fighting games, but in general. Like I have a very exploitive mindset of like
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to find flaws, trying to find advantages, and how to make the best use of that.
Yeah, like breaking the game
Yeah.
down, and you can see all its
So
components.
that allows me to understand how fighting games work in a more in-depth way. So what happened there is that it was very funny, because they had this engine they built on. So they in A1 they work with mostly Unreal.
Yeah.
And they had their own like engine built on top of that, in which they built Omen of Sorrow. And the thing is that they wanted to keep using this engine, but they didn't have anyone that knew fighting games to like make use of this engine.
That's
So-
right. They had to create that engine.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is- yeah.
So they took me to the office, and it's like, okay, this is the engine we have, and it's like, okay, take a look at it. Tell us what you think. I took a look at it. It was very easy for me to understand as a fighting game player,
Yeah.
and because I had like I'm like I'm good with computers. I understand like how things work.
Yeah.
I was in the university for a couple of years for computer engineering, so
Yeah. Okay.
I know programming basics, so it's like I know what's going on behind, like even though I can't program myself, but if I'm like sitting next to a programmer, I can follow code with
Yeah.
with someone
Okay.
that knows.
Okay. So you do have a background that touches upon
Yeah.
the coding aspect. Yeah.
So basically, they asked me, okay, so what can you do with this engine? I told them, okay, I think I can like take one of your Omen of Sorrow characters and turn it into a Marvel character. So instead of like being like Street Fighter type combos or like chain combos, it would do like 1 2 3 launch, 1 2 3 down OTG super,
Yeah,
like very
yeah.
basic Marvel 3 combo.
yeah.
And they were like, okay, how many weeks do you think you will take on that? I told them like maybe like 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in 2 hours, I had the character doing like ABC, like let me heavy jump, launch, let me heavy down, OTG super.
Yeah.
And that's how I got in,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That's what basically got me in. And then we went through all the process of like, what was the general idea? What was the concept? We went like through multiple like reiterations of what we wanted to make in terms of like the general like art style vibe,
Yeah.
also gameplay design, all that. And then
Okay. Sorry. Let me just ask a quick question before
Okay.
you continue. So Did you get in? I guess you must have gotten in on this game before they even had the art style or any
Yes, yes.
vibes. Okay, so
yes, because I was in the game from point zero.
okay, wow. So you
Before
actually saw this game appear from thin air,
Yeah.
into something. Okay,
Yeah, I made the game appear from the
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, very cool. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, for me, the most challenging part of being like combat designer for this has been being the middle point between the programmers and the artists.
Yeah.
Basically, going to the programmers and telling them, "I need this to happen in the game. I need characters to be able to do this, or I need to like even details like I want like at which point during the whole frame animation you start like considering things like before or after the frame is displayed, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and like the order in which like things are parsed before displaying them on the actual frame, like frame display, the thing that actually happens in game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All those things are details that ideally, if you want to be working with people that also understand fighting games in some sort of way, or at least games, because the way they understand what you're talking about.
Yes.
Or otherwise you have to explain things to them, how things work, what you're expected to do. Usually show like examples. It's like this works like this because blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, I need this to happen in the game. I need this certain thing to work this way, and they have to and they code it inside the engine and update the engine. So now you're able to do this kind of thing. You have this new flag that, okay, now this move is cancelable, all like normal cancelable during the chain, but if you do the move in a chain, now you have to spend resources to be able to cancel it, blah 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 blah. Those are things you have to request to them. And then on the art side, you have to go to the concept art. It's like, okay, this is what like we want the move to be like, kind of like what we're thinking about the character, about like we're thinking about the character to do in this particular attack. And we need to go like check with the art people, and then the concept, and if they like it, for like the general aesthetic of the game, and then also see it for myself if it suits the character, like the character concept, the character archetype. Then if it gets approved, we have to take it to the concept artist. Okay, start drawing sketches.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the sketches. These are fine. Then we have to go to the animators. Like again, it's like this is what we have to. This is what we want the character to do. Maybe come with some examples of like similar attacks in our games to have them understand the idea. Yeah. And this is also a bit more complicated in my experience because many I found programmers be more like having usually more affinity with fighting games than animators.
Yeah. Okay.
They
Like animators
translate it differently. In their heads.
It's not just like in life. Like programmers are like more.
They're logical.
More logical, more like scientifically minded. Yeah. So fighting games just suit them better. So more often I see them like we having at least some sort of fighting experience. Meanwhile, for the artists, for like people that do 3D design, that kind of stuff, they're usually like more artistic on their side.
Yeah,
so they play more casual games.
Yeah, okay.
So they don't have much fighting game experience in general. And
That's interesting.
In fighting games in particular have certain animation conventions that defy all the rules of like general animation.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you kind of touched upon this.
So canceling stuff, right?
Well, there is that aspect, but I think it was the throw text, like
many things, like how even how throwing works, how throw tech works, how canceling works.
Yeah.
How like characters are supposed to be on the same line, but they're not really on the same.
It's
horizontal
just
line.
Exaggeration.
Yeah.
It doesn't look nice in a cartoon or a actual animation, but you have to exaggerate for the games to look better.
If you think about like the idea of canceling in 2D fighting games, it's the most ridiculous looking thing, right?
I think animators would be like...
Yeah, animators probably like, why is he just suddenly teleported into a different animation? But for us, like a low forward fireball, for you, is like the most normal looking thing, right?
Exactly.
But to an animator, that must just be like, wow, this is what you guys like. But like if you look at Tekken, for example, we were talking about how throw techs are very difficult to make it look like natural or good, and it's kind of like you see like a Street Fighter 5, it looks like they just both explode and blow each other away with like air or something, like compressed air, but like in Tekken it's different because they don't really have the canceling animations that the 2D games have had. Of course, there's 2D characters now, but in Tekken, like even like throw teching is like not really throw tech. It's like throw breaking, right?
Yes.
And then there's like a full animation, like a get off me, bro.
And they have, and for grabs that are not the generic grabs, they even have like specific throw break animations too.
You have to suit the character, the size of the character, and the style of grapple that they did.
Yeah. But like in a 2D fighting game, you have to have like Ibuki doing a back throw on Hugo. And it's like, how do you, that's ridiculous. Like, but you have to have it because you can't make it so that you know she can't do the throw. That breaks the gameplay.
I remember
throws universal.
Because all the other normal size characters, like the Ibuki example, is pretty cool because she hops on their shoulder, right, to do the neck breaker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But for Hugo, it's like double the height. So they had to animate that for the tall characters.
They have to adjust that to make it look good.
That's
it's
right.
Like even for example in Tatsunoko versus Capcom, like when Alex did the headbutt on the giant robots.
Oh man,
he had to climb. He had a different animation, climb with their heads to headbutt them.
Or if he does a surplex on them or something like that.
Yeah. And then but you have to do it in the same frames also, unless you change the gameplay rules.
Yes.
So then it's like there's a climbing animation, but he has to climb really fast, right? So it's almost like you teleport. It must be like really difficult to try to get some of the animations to work with some of the gameplay. Was there ever a time where you had to compromise in the gameplay a bit with the animators, like say like the animator's like, oh, I don't know, we can't make this look good, and you're like, okay, maybe we'll add like 3 more frames of startup to this move. I can imagine that would be sacrilege for any gameplay designer, right? So do you just have to be like, okay, just suck it up, animators. It's gonna look weird, but just make it work, and then they make something work.
We had a little bit of both, really, especially with like, there's some case where some animators try to. It's like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing, so it's like I'm gonna like make my own judgments. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So
okay.
there's usually a case where you have to no. Don't think. Just
do it.
Just do what we're telling you.
Yeah.
But you're right, because you know how it says the coders and the animators, they kind of have a different perspective on life in general.
Yeah.
I kind of see it. I wouldn't think it's every artist, but something that I see commonly is that they're very stubborn as well. Because they're very egoistic about their art.
Because they're artists.
Yeah.
Like they want to do their craft. Like you see it with
totally understandable.
Like you see it not only like, for example, I see it a lot with like think about younger musicians getting into the game industry. Like think being a younger musician, like composer getting into Square Enix, Capcom, SNK.
Yeah.
And like having to like kind of be, people expect you to live out to a massive legacy.
Yeah.
But you as an artist, you also want to do your own thing. You don't want to be like the people that came before you inspire you.
Yeah, of course.
But you don't want to be chained to just doing one, like another rearrange.
Yeah, well, that's definitely.
Like they don't want to be the next Nobu Uematsu. They want to be the first of their name.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is I think there's a comedian that talked about this, how like it's not when you're when you get into music, you want to be the rock star, right? Yeah. You're not going in there to be like the backup guitarist for some obscure band or movie and get the paycheck and then go to the next one, right? So like there's kind of like there's like an ambition there when it comes to any of the arts. But I could say this because like I'm also doing a business that requires making art based on what clients expect, and of course they have their expectations, and I can't just be like.